Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, this is a sharp turn from the previous conversation.
Yes.
In that we're talking about you in music, coping, and then in this photograph, can't see your face. Your back is turned to the photographer. On your forearm is what I know to be a guard. Is it like a drawstring guard?
Yeah, it stops the string from hurting.
You're pulling back in very nice form. You're pulling back with your elbow nice and high. You're pulling back a wooden shaft arrow on a bow.
I think that's a bamboo arrow.
It's a bamboo arrow.
I think. I will double check.
Okay. Yes. And you're pulling back a more classic style bow.
Yeah, this is a traditional Chinese style or Mongolian style bow. I've been learning for a year in Hong Kong. My teacher, I met him through one of the archery centres in Reissue. It's a good one. But now we go to one in Sampo Kong, and I have lessons with him. He's a great teacher. I have a lot of fun.
Okay.
And yeah, this ties in with what we were talking about, coping and finding coping methods during 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
And I just needed something to help me regulate myself, help me regulate my emotions. I was getting so stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And there was not a lot of music happening, and this was my realization that gigs had kind of been my crash mat,
Sure.
That when things were going wrong in my life, I wasn't necessarily dealing with it like I should be, because gigs were keeping me going, giving me energy, keeping me high.
Yeah. And
losing so many gigs just due to closures made me realize that there were some deep issues that I needed to resolve, which we all have. Everyone has their own things, so I'm sure everyone can. As I'm sure this resonates with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special here, but it was an important moment for me because this was the first time I was really realizing that I had a lot of stuff I needed to work on.
Right.
That I hadn't been for so many years,
mm-hmm.
Especially with moving to Hong Kong and continuing the music here. There have just been so many distractions.
Right.
Hong Kong can be a very distracting place.
Sure.
And I mean that in a very good way.
Yeah.
And so I was trying yoga, meditation, things like this. And I'm sure if I go back to it and keep trying, I can succeed. But it just wasn't right for me at that time.
Going
it
back
wasn't
to
working.
it being what, yoga? Meditation?
Yeah, yoga and meditation. It wasn't helping me to calm myself, regulate my emotions. I know it works really well for so many people, but it wasn't right for me at the time.
Mm.
And so I was trying to think, what can I do? And I remembered trying this in the UK.
Okay.
And I just thought, why don't I see if I can do archery in Hong Kong? And turns out there are so many archers in Hong Kong, so many teachers, so many ranges, which is great.
Okay.
And I got in contact with the first one that came up on Google, which was the Golden Trust one in Reissue. And it just went from there. And I very quickly realized that this was a very, very good way for me to build my focus and build my mental strength, because especially with the approach that my teacher's been using with me, it's very similar to martial arts. Yeah. I mean, he's explained to me archery is one of the arts in China, and the way they approach archery is the same way they would approach the martial arts that they have.
Sure.
So he's been teaching me something called the 10 steps of archery, and it's very steady, very controlled, very focused. Mm-hmm. And it's really helping.
Nice.
And I love it.
Wow, you should see your face.
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe it.
I know, my eyes just light up.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
I get a little sparkle.
Okay, so only because I have to somehow connect with that. You, in the UK, stumbled upon archery.
It was actually because of the medieval music.
Okay.
I was going to a lot of fairs and getting to try it there, which was great. And we got to have archery lessons when I was in primary school as well, which was kind of fun.
That's a different sort of experience. Like compared, like for example, I personally have had a sort of obsession with archery in that I remember as a kid having a sort of a dream about using a bow, and then having a recurring dream of using a compound bow. And then finally, like 2 years ago, actually when COVID started, and I brought my daughter to Savannah, Georgia. And I think I may have had, it was like sparked by a dream or something, but then I woke up one morning and I was like, I'm going to get a bow. And I haven't touched the bow, nothing. And so I ended up getting this really, really nice bow and just slowly getting into archery as well. And having gone to the range in Leichycock and not traditional.
You're using recurve or compound?
It's a compound.
You're using compound.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't tried compound.
Well, okay, if you can pull it back, it's very strong. But
yes, imagine.
But yeah, but one of the things, if we're going to talk about imposter syndrome, in which I'm an imposter at 99% of things in the world, I would not associate archery with a meditative, calming, focusing thing. So, like, let me understand that. Why, how?
Because it's all about, okay, so let me explain it through the way I approach trying to hit the bullseye, like in the middle of the target. If I am aiming, trying to get exactly in the middle, I'm never going to hit that. If I'm aiming only by looking at the target and just trying to hit that, it just doesn't happen. It's all about your body. It's all about doing the technique spot on. And the actual aiming with the eye is almost, for me, it feels almost secondary.
Yeah, no, I understand
sounds kind of crazy, but
I understand it totally.
Yeah, and so I am more likely to be hitting that yellow or gold, or when we use the traditional Chinese ones, I think it's a tiger's face. The target, I mean, I am more likely to be grouping well and hitting close to the middle if I am focused on my breathing, my strength in my arms, holding the bow properly, not overextending or not making sure that I'm anchoring in the same place. If anyone doesn't know what I mean by that, it's when you draw the arrow back, you want to make sure you are drawing it back to the same place every time. So you choose like a spot. When I'm drawing back in my face, it tends to be around my cheekbone.
Sure.
But I've also been learning how to aim lower. So I'm bringing it closer to my heart. And if I'm doing all of this and really aware of my body, then the arrow flies straight.
Sure.
And that for me was when I realized that, I just remember thinking, oh, this is a really kind of important life lesson. Like, instead of trying to make everything happen the way I want it to, I need to just focus on who I am, what I'm doing, and if it doesn't work out the way I wanted it to, just to let it go and just keep focusing on who I am, how I'm approaching everything. And so archery kind of was this light bulb moment that archery gave me on how to find more inner peace in my own life. I also got very good advice from people around me, like my archery teacher was saying similar things. I have other friends who are quite spiritual who gave me fantastic advice on this too. And it kind of reinforced this idea that I'd come to learn just through archery. So for me, I think one of the reasons why it's working so well for me now, I don't get the imposter feeling when I'm doing the archery, because I am still very much a student. And that's really working well for me, because I don't feel like I'm doing something that I don't feel like I shouldn't be there. Like I'm in Hong Kong. I want to learn more about, the traditions that Hong Kong and China have. And it is really great for me to be able to do that. And the wonderful thing about learning the Chinese Mongolian style is the steps that they do take, and it's so steady and so slow, and it's all just focusing on you and bringing it into you and focusing on what you're doing. And that helps me outside of archery. That helps me because I'm much more aware of maybe when I'm getting tension in certain parts of my body. Yeah. And as a musician, this is something I should have been already good at, because, you know, you can, especially if you're a fiddle player, you need to be careful with your shoulders and things. But I guess I just got lost along the way with that. And archery's helped me to bring this back. Bring this back, take care of myself. And I'm building up my upper body strength. I'm actually getting some muscle here now. My right arm is much bigger than my left arm.
Please note that she's flexing for the audio. I love it.
This is the biggest my arm's ever been.
That's
it's
great.
Still tiny, but
let me connect a few dots to that. So one thing is that connecting it to as a kind of martial art. So I've been doing martial art, a certain kind of martial art, like Thai, like Muay Thai, for 25 years. And I can handle myself well enough. But I would never say that I have a mastery of it, in the sense that I would always say that I'm a student. I'm a student with 25 years of experience. And I am, because of that and other things, I'm very aware of physical expression, physical movement and everything. So I mentioned earlier, you know, this is the closest I've been to somebody playing a fiddle. I was aware of when we started, because you didn't warm up. You just sort of picked it up and just started playing.
I wish I had warmed up.
No, I know you should have. But in a way, you're warming up through the recording. And I could see in your hands, I could see that originally it's like, was it the being self-conscious of us recording with a microphone and me, this weird person in your house, and this new person, and you're playing, and all of a sudden you're like on this, okay, play something. You're just like, oh, okay. So I'm getting, but you know what I mean? Like, and what was interesting was that as you kind of got into it more, I could see in your face and your fingers, and I could see that you're kind of settling into the practice. Like, okay, I know that, you know, your body was kind of getting more into it, and the music sounded a little bit, less worried, I guess, you know? Yeah,
I probably should have warmed up a little bit. I was very aware when I started that my fingers are sleepy. Sure.
Well, you hadn't had your coffee. It's okay.
Exactly.
But, you know, so let's tie that to the archery, in that it's this notion of, you could, like, for example, my bow is like bells and whistles, you know, because I bought it secondhand. So it came with all the bells and whistles of, like, the sights and everything. And so that's one way of nailing your aim so well. And yet there's this idea of shooting instinctively. You know? That's really, I think, the word.
Which is what you have to do, I guess, with the traditional bows, because we just don't have any help. I have never shot with a modern bow. It's always been with a traditional bow. That's what I love. I mean, I probably should try one just to see what it's like.
It's not like you have years of experience. I never shot it's like, wait a second.
No, I just mean because I was going to the medieval fairs and stuff, so they didn't have the modern bows. So every time I've tried it, it's always been with a very basic bow. But it's kind of fun for me to do that, and I don't care about how much I'm missing the target or how much I'm hitting it. It really is just, for me, it's just fun.
So when you go, how long do you normally shoot for?
An hour.
An hour? Okay.
Sometimes, the other day I went for an hour and a half.
Okay.
But we were shooting from 18 meters, and that'd be my first time going 18 meters for a few months. So I did get quite tired.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I slowly built up to 18 meters, but then I had some friends join the lessons, which is really nice. It's nice to be able to share it with someone as well. It kind of brought even more energy to the lessons, because I'm still focused on myself, but it's also nice to just every now and again break that and then just have a conversation.
Well, we're social
chat.
animals.
Exactly.
Yeah, so. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.